What's going on, everybody? John and Will, Law of Polaris. With the preseason underway, I wanted to give you my personal rankings of the best 10 and the worst 10 of each position. This is how I see it on paper. Right now, I'm not looking at injuries, I'm not looking at suspensions, I'm not looking at holdouts. Unless the injury report specifically says out for the season, for all intents and purposes, we are assuming that these guys are playing all 16 games. All right, defensive line. So we don't always have your basic 4-3 defense in the league. We got all kind of crazy packages these defensive coordinators are coming up with lately. So I'm looking at who the teams specifically have listed on their depth charts as defensive ends or defensive linemen. Bottom 10. 23rd in the league to me is Atlanta. Now, this is bottom 10, but to me it's still pretty good. And it really goes to show how much has been invested in defensive lines recently. Everybody's beefing up their defensive line. For Atlanta, you still got Vic Beasley. They're really solid. They're just not better than any of the other 22 teams ahead of them. 24th in the league, Washington. A lot of question marks here. They run a 3-4 defense. Deron Payne as a rookie could be amazing. Could make this a top tier defensive line. Or as a rookie, he could be a liability. Matt Ioannidis and Jonathan Allen, they're okay. They haven't shown me enough. 24 is where this unit lands on paper. 25th, Cleveland. I like Myles Garrett, but he doesn't have a strong supporting cast. Emmanuel Ogbah, he might step it up in his third year. Who knows? 26, San Francisco. I like DeForest Buckner. I like Solomon Thomas. 2 first-round picks going into the third and second year respectively. This should be a breakout year for them. Should is the key word. On paper, though, with the small sample size that we have, they haven't really shown me anything so far. 27, Indianapolis. Outside of Jabal Sheard, you have nothing. Big question marks. 28th, Chicago. You got Akeem Hicks, who's pretty good, but in this 3-4 defense, this defensive line is the weakest link, clearly. 29th, Detroit. Ezekiel Ansah in this D-line is washed up. Maybe A'Shawn Robinson can pick it up in his third year, but last season he started all 16 games and got a half a sack. Trash. 30th, Seattle. You have Frank Clark, Deion Jordan, who were okay at best. You have a lot of rookies, but who knows? Pete Carroll could be building Legion of Boom 2.0. On paper, however, this defensive line just does not look good. 31st, Kansas City. Another 3-4 defense where you have who on this defensive line? Chris Jones? Maybe their third rounder, Derek Nandi, can step up, but for now, on paper, no. 32nd, Denver. From what I'm seeing, Bradley Chubb will be in the linebacker position, leaving Derek Wolfe, DeMonte Pico, and Clinton McDonald on this 3-4 defensive line. Who? No. Now, before I move over to top 10 defensive lines in the league, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell to be notified of any video whenever it comes out. 10th best defensive line in the league, it's got to go to Pittsburgh. Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, and this 3-4 setup is going to be the driving force for Pittsburgh's defense as a whole, in my opinion. Number 9, Oakland. Bruce Irvin, Khalil Mack, fire. You got the second rounder, PJ Hall, who might be fighting for the starting spot, so this unit is solid and definitely has some depth. Number 8, New England. You bring over Adrian Claiborne from Atlanta. You pair him with Trey Flowers, Danny Shelton in the middle. This is a good group, trust me. Number 7, Tampa Bay. JPP, Vinny Curry, Gerald McCoy, the rookie Vita Vea. Listen, this defensive line may be way higher on this list when it's all said and done. 6, New Orleans. Cameron Jordan, one of the best defensive ends in the NFC. He has a solid interior group with Sheldon Rankins and the 14th overall pick, Marcus Davenport. If he comes out smoking, this defensive line could be crazy. Number 5, Green Bay. Another 3-4 defense. Mike Daniels, Kenny Clark. Listen, that's all you need. Then they added Muhammad Wilkerson in the mix. Fire. Number 4, Minnesota. Everson Griffin, Linval Joseph, Daniel Hunter is going to get better in his 4th season, and he just added Sheldon Richardson. Fire. 3rd best defensive line in the league, Jacksonville. Hands down, best defensive line in the AFC. Saxonville, Calais Campbell, and the guy with the African name that's impossible to pronounce. Marcel Darius in the interior, fire. Number 2, Philadelphia. Look, the Eagles lost defensive linemen in the free agency, lost Timmy Jernigan for the season, and are still one of the best units in the league. So much depth. Brandon Graham, Michael Bennett, Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, Elodie Nada, Chris Long. The list goes on. Number 1, the Rams. On paper, it has to be the Rams. Now, I struggled with this. It was a toss-up between Philly or the Rams. But again, I mean, this is a 3-4 defense, and you got Aaron Donald. I know he's holding out or whatever. You got Michael Brockers and then Ndamukong Suh. I don't think you got anybody close when you're looking at a 3-4 defensive line. Outside of the Eagles, it's the Rams by a mile. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm always up for a friendly debate. Can't wait for the season to start. More to come. Stay tuned.